This is the Moshpit Backstage podcast for punk, metal, and rock interviews and segments.
Hi, this is Mille Petrozza from Kreator, and you're listening to the Moshpit on Sin.
Mille Petrozza is the vocalist and guitarist of Kreator, whose latest album, Gods of Violence, is out now. Mille, thank you so much for joining me.
Always, man.
Very big fan. I'm delighted to be able to interview. For this album, you worked with Jens Bogren, same as you did for the last album, Phantom Antichrist. What do you bring to the mix, and what does he bring to the mix that made you go with him again?
I guess it just worked. The team was just very. It was still exciting enough to try one more round with Jens. So I guess that was the reason why. And he's definitely a great producer. He's a very good producer, and it just made sense to try another round and do another album with him.
So this album featured some orchestral work done by Flesh God Apocalypse. Really great band, really interesting Italian band. How did you get in touch with them? Do you know them? Did one of the people working on the album know them? How did you get in touch with them?
Actually, we didn't really know them. It was just for this intro that we have, Apocalypticon. I was really. I had in my head, I had this orchestra of doom playing in the background. I only for the intro bit for this part, for the instrumental song Apocalypticon, I only had like the guitar, the drums, and the guitar melody. But I kind of had a idea for an orchestral arrangement, and rather than doing it ourselves, which we could have done, we were asking. Jens knew the guys from Flesh God Apocalypse, and so he was like, "Let's try to get them in the boat, and try to see how it sounds." And they sent over some suggestions after we sent them the rough demo, and it sounded great. And we were like, "This is gonna be really something," because they kind of know they've been doing this orchestral stuff for so long, and they added so much to the album that it's really cool.
For a band who's been doing it for so long, this might be a stupid question, but I'm kind of interested because, I don't know, we as listeners don't really see much of the long process that goes into it, writing, recording, all of that. Is there any times during that process that it's difficult in any sense? Many times, but that's just not important, It's not important, really, because it's when you write an album, it's almost like presenting your inner feelings and your inner thoughts and your inner and your hopefully your best ideas that you can deliver to the world, and that creates a certain kind of pressure, and it's sometimes frustrating since you think there's an idea that's really great and was working nicely, and you in your head it's like, oh, this is going to be awesome, and then there's certain points in the process where you go like, oh, this idea wasn't so good, but you spend like hours and hours thinking about it, and days and weeks sometimes even, and then you throw it away, and that can sometimes be very hard, and you have to forget about your ego in this process, just to make the song as good as possible. Demands a no ego attitude, if you know what I mean. And that can sometimes be very difficult because, especially since an idea has developed, but it didn't quite develop the way you had imagined it. So it's like on a psychological level, it can be very hard sometimes, yeah. Now, speaking about like throwing away a song, I had a question about how do you know when a song is ready? Like, how do you know when it's ready? You can record it, but adding to that, how do you know when a song's not ready? That even though there was something about it you really liked, how do you know when maybe it's time to throw it away?
very obvious. Sometimes you listen. I make demos all the time. I'm one of these musicians that, like, as soon as I have an idea, I go into a professional studio and record something on a level where I can. It sounds almost like an album, only in a digital form without the band. So if I listen to these songs at home in the rough version and in the digital format, I kind of get an idea of the song, And if the song grows on me, that's perfect. If sometimes the song I'm like really excited about and I don't want to listen to it over and over again, then I know the song won't work. Very simple, really.
In terms of that feeling you were talking about a minute ago, the lyrics are obviously a very important part of, band, particularly heavy metal, where there's a lot of a kind of thought and a lot of pouring your soul out and the different ideas that sort of roll around that. When you're writing lyrics, do you sort of expect or do you want people to take some of the ideas you're presenting to heart? How do you want people to sort of accept those ideas?
Whatever they see in the lyrics, whatever they want them to be. To me, it's not important that they understand them the same way as I do. I just offer my thoughts to the listener. So it's really like once you give it, you release a song, it's out there, and people can get out of it. They can in a perfect world, it makes them feel something at least. Let it be excitement, let it be, thinking about the lyrics, whatever. So it's open, I keep it open.
We often think of music, arts, entertainment as kind of an escape from reality, but when you're presenting ideas about religion and violence, particularly in the climate of, the last 10, 15 years, however you want to sort of separate in time, it cuts close to home a lot. How do you think of it? Like, because it's not necessarily an escape in the same way that maybe a lot of other art that people present is.
I think it can be. It doesn't have to be separated. You can have entertainment even with lyrics that kind of talk about current events and serious subjects. To me, that's not an oxymoron. But like I said earlier, if you only want to chant along with let's say a song like World War Now, or you just want to go crazy and just don't listen to the lyrics, and you just want to feel excitement in the music, that's fine with me also. So there's like different forms of enjoying what we do, and there's no right or wrong, if you know what I mean.
I was kind of looking, researching the band, obviously, for the interview, and your first 5 albums are released in about 6 years. Your last 5, 16 years. Now, I'm not saying, like, how come you haven't given us more albums? That's, that is what it is. What I'm more interested in is, how has the process for the band, how has the industry, whatever, how has that changed that sort of explains what's going on in, those different time spans?
I think nowadays it's more about touring, because we have so many different places and different places that we have to go to that we spend a lot of time touring, and that of course takes a lot of time going to. For example, going to Australia for us as Europeans, it's like it takes us two days to even get there, and then there's 2 days to get used to the jet lag, and then different time zone, and it's just time consuming, to play all over the world. So, in order to release quality albums, you need this time away from the road in order to come up with something spectacular and exciting. It's really that simple.
Now, in terms of the touring, you've got some really tour planned with some amazing bands, Sepultura being among them, but playing a show just after the release of a new album, how do you go pick about new songs and sort of figuring out where they will place in your new set list for the tour?
It's getting harder and harder, let me tell you this much. We just finished the set list, we're going on tour next week, and we're going to have our first concert tomorrow, and we just came up with a set list that we think features all of the different times and the different albums and the most important songs. But I know once we get out there and once the set list gets out there, there's going to be people, why didn't they play this song? Why didn't they play my favorite song? It's getting harder, man. And I think this kind of music, when you're a band like, let's say, like a rock band or something, you can play it 2 hours. But when you're a thrash metal band, 1.5 hours is enough. So otherwise, it's just sonically such too demanding. And so we decided not to play over 1.5 hours. That makes it even harder. But I think the new set list is really good. It's really good. We play five songs or 6 songs of the new record, and we play all kinds of we play 2 obscure songs that we haven't played in a while, and we play the classics. So I think it's a cool set list that we have come up with.
Just I like to get what artists are consuming. Any books, movies, music that you've been listening to have caught your eye lately?
Many different things. I just came out. I love that new movie with Ryan Gosling, the La La Land movie. It's a really good movie. It's done by the same guy who did Whiplash. There was this movie, Nocturnal Animals, that I really liked, and there's this TV show on Netflix called Black Mirror, and those were the Black Mirror was also like a huge inspiration on some of the lyrics on Gods of Violence. Books, I'm currently reading this book, The Girls. It's called. I forgot the name of the author, but it's based on the Manson family. So yeah. Musically, I listen to some old school metal, some newer stuff, some pop stuff, of course, like always,
Mille, it's been an absolute pleasure. You've over the years you've meant so much to me. Kreator's just been a huge inspiration. Gods of Violence will be out now by the time this interview is. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much, man.
Thanks for listening to the Moshpit Backstage podcast. You can subscribe to us on iTunes and Omni. To find out more about the show, go to www.syn.org.au/moshpit. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/moshpitonsyn and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at moshpitsyn. The regular Moshpit radio show broadcasts punk, rock and metal tunes and interviews every Thursday nights on Syn 9.7 on FM and digital radios. Listeners outside of Melbourne, Australia can stream Syn 9.7 online at www.syn.org.au. Thanks to Vintage Ruin for the music.
Hi, this is Tomato from Flash Gun Apocalypse.
Hi, I'm Enid from Girls School.
I am Phoebe Pinnock from Heavenly Axe.
Hey, this is Gary Oldmead of the Misfits.
Hey, this is Kat Sproul from Horizon's Edge, and you're listening to the Moshpit on Syn FM.
Hi, this is Einar from Leopard.
Hi, I'm Virginia Lilly from the band Lily.
This is Raul from 1349.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ali from Zebrahead.
Hey, everybody, this is Charlie Benante with Anthrax, and you are listening to the Moshpit on Syn.